Hi Sandy, it's Monday, still, just for a little bit, and this is a new weekly reading vlog. Yeah, it's like almost midnight. I'm absolutely shattered and I really should have gone to bed like an hour ago, but here we are. I was on a backstage with Tori, Vicky and Bobby and their bad influences. Because I'm not an adult that can make my own decisions. I also get FOMO. But yeah, so I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed, but I wanted to start the vlog on a Monday. And I've got 2 minutes left to do that. So I hate myself a little bit. But hopefully I get a better sleep than I did last night, because I feel like I didn't sleep last night. Like I did that thing where I closed my eyes, opened them again, and time had passed. And I was like, why? Why? But yeah, as you can see, I have brought my TBR downstairs because I couldn't decide what to read. But I think next I'm going to read another Elizabeth. This is a body horror thriller about a woman who is diagnosed with EDS, and she wants to fulfill her dream of killing someone before her EDS basically makes her too unwell to do it. But she ends up becoming a serial killer instead of just stopping at one person. So that's really interesting. I think the author has EDS, and it says being a woman with several invisible illnesses. So I think the author does have EDS, and the main character has EDS. So it's hypermobile EDS. It states it in the it states it in the blurb, but it states it in the book as well when she's diagnosed. And I've read a couple of pages and already I'm really liking the prose, and this seems like it's going to be really interesting. So I think I'm going to pick that up. I didn't want to pick up a romance because I've just read Whiskey Business and I just need to like read something else before I read another romance so it doesn't like bleed together, because I've been like Whiskey Business has been on my mind. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and I will speak to you tomorrow. Hello, it is Wednesday and my god, am I ready for the weekend. I am absolutely exhausted. I fell asleep on my chair earlier, which means I've done absolutely nothing tonight. I fell asleep and woke up at like 8 o'clock and then had dinner. So I'm only really just settling in to do stuff, to like do reading and stuff. I'm on backstage with Vicky and Tori and we're waiting on Bobby showing up after work. But my day's just disappeared in a cloud of sleep. I had a really weird dream while I was sleeping that I'm not going to describe to you, but I just want to make the point that it was about Mulan, and I think it's because I was watching the Angry Mulan Man, the Wash Your Rice guy, on TikTok before I fell asleep. I really do like the way he yells like wash your rice. I find it absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I'd been watching his videos and then I fell asleep and dreamt about Mulan and Shang. But not in the way you'd think. I'm not even going to describe it, it's fine. I couldn't remember it all if I tried, or explain it if I tried. But my brain is an interesting place sometimes. But yeah, otherwise I've just spent the entire day watching the updates on Hurricane Milton. Literally just staring at different TikToks and stuff, and videos and news updates and stuff like that. So that's taken up a lot of my day, and it is quite distressing. It's not even affecting me, and I am distressed. I don't know how people in the area are coping. I really hope that some kind of miracle happens. But yeah, I'm gonna do some reading. I think I've got my music up. I think I'm gonna read. I don't even want to. The thing is, I was supposed to be reading another Elizabeth, which is a horror, thriller, serial killer book. But I'm now feeling so upset that I feel like I want to read one of my romance books just to, you know, have something nice going on. So I think I might start Loving Romeo. Just to... I didn't want to read a romance before because my brain was still on the last romance that I read, Whiskey Business. And I was like, I need some time for my brain to like filter through it before I start reading another romance. But I feel like I'm in that place now. Yeah, like I say, I'm not feeling great mentally, so I think something like a romance would just be the right thing. So I think, yeah, I'm going to start Loving Romeo and watching these cameras to see what's happening over in the US. So I literally at one point cussed out Poseidon and Zeus. I was like, you two better get your shit together. Because, like, this is ridiculous. It's absolute madness. Absolute madness. By the time you see this, it'll be over and done with. So, we will know the results by then. But, yeah, I need to go and read something more uplifting because yeah, there's no point in me burning out. As much as I care about what's happening, I can't just let it shut me down. So, I need to do something else. Hello, it is Thursday. I've just finished work and just had to clean up behind somebody who had a poopy foot. So now I'm wrecked, my back hurts, and at least the floor is clean. Thank you, Hamish. But I also had a delivery. I've already pulled it open because I don't like pulling the tab on camera, it just takes ages and I have to edit it out. But I do know what the book is, because it is one of my pre-orders. It's updated. So this is Identity Unknown by Patricia Cornwell. This is the next in the Scarpetta novels. Do you know what it's about? No, because I just buy the Scarpetta novels. So this is the newest in the Scarpetta series, and I really like the background. So I just read the synopsis, and they find a body in a creepy abandoned, creepy abandoned theme park. So that's obviously what's in the background there. I'm excited to read this because it's a Scarpetta novel and I love being in the world of Scarpetta. So yay. I also have another book getting delivered, I think tomorrow. So you guys see that, and it is the most beautiful edition of a book ever. I think I've got two. I can't remember if I've got two things coming or just one. I think it's just one. So now I've got to go edit. But I think I'm going to sit for a while because my back really hurts. Hello, it is Thursday and I'm just getting ready to go to bed. I just managed to wind down and I'd been reading my book and I just got friggin' rushed by a friggin' spider that I had to kill, and now I've got an adrenaline spike, so that's great. So now I'm just taking my meds before going to bed, and I'm going to have to try and get my heart rate back down again, which is fun. I hate them. I hate them so much. I hate them so much. I will literally kill them all. Anyway, let's talk about the reading I've been doing before I go to bed, and hopefully, like I say, get my heart rate down a bit. So I have been continuing Loving Romeo, and I am 252 pages in. I have less than 100 pages in. There's like 339. Yeah, 339 pages, and I'm on 252. So I will probably be able to finish this tomorrow unless something happens. I am enjoying it, but it's quite a bare bones story. There's not much depth to it. There's a lot going on, and a lot going on at breakneck speeds, and I don't think that's just because I'm reading it quite fast, but there's like leaps and bounds being made in so many different plot points, and we're not really getting the meat of it. I think this is a debut, so I'm not overly surprised. There are 4 other books in this series, so hopefully she continues to improve. It's not a bad story, it's not bad. That I feel like I'm invested in the characters, I'm invested in the story. I just wish there was more. And some people are not going to like this because it goes 0 to 60 in the romance, and it's a bit cheesy. But I like that. That's what I wanted from this, a fun, cheesy romance, and that's what I'm getting. So I'm more than happy with that. Like I say, really invested in the characters, really liking what's going on, storyline wise. It is quite heavy, and that's the thing. It's heavy, and there's like 3 or 4 different storylines going on. And I don't feel like there's enough pages to give that justice. It is not fleshed out enough. That's my biggest problem with it. But I am really, really enjoying it. So that is the good thing. Oh my god, honestly, my heart is beating out my chest. But yeah, it's time to go to bed. It was time to go to bed 45 minutes ago or longer, but I just wanted to. This is the thing. I was just going to get to a certain point in the book, but then the chapter led directly on, and I was like, well, I just need to wait until I finish that chapter, and then I just kept going. So like, it's like I'm not wanting to put it down. I would happily sit up and finish it tonight, but I have work in the morning, so I need to go to bed. Okay, so I'm almost finished this book. I am like 40 something pages from the end. 43 pages from the end or something. And I'm really fucking annoyed with the main character. So this is going to be a rant with spoilers. So I'm not holding my hand up because my hand keeps cramping when I do that. But this whole section is going to be a spoiler. So if you don't want spoilers, skip it. But I need to rant. So that's your last warning. So this freaking woman is in the hospital. So Romeo got jumped by 3 guys. She rushed out to help him. One of the guys hit her so hard that she smacked her head off a wall and broke her arm. 2 different things. Obviously, her smacking her head didn't break her arm, but like she landed and her arm got put under her and she broke her arm. And she had to go to surgery to get her arm repaired, and they were watching her concussion and yada yada yada. And now her dad, because he's an asshole, is like causing delays so that she has to stay in the hospital. And she's like, I'm so annoyed that this doctor won't sign me at the hospital so I can go to the fight. While at the same time being like, well, I can go to the fight if I want because I'm a grown-ass woman. And I don't, like, so what if my dad doesn't want me to go? I'm an adult, I'm 23, like, I can do what I want. And I'm like, right, so 2 things. You're not a psych patient and you're an adult. Sign a fucking AMA. Sign an AMA. You can walk at the hospital whenever you are not tied to the bed. You are an adult undertaking voluntary medical care. You can say, give me it if you are not going to discharge me, bring me an AMA because I'm leaving. Like, you can even just get up and walk out. They are not able to stop you. They cannot force you to have medical care. Like, no way. I don't know about everywhere in the world, but in America and in the UK, they cannot force you to have medical care. That you do know what, you have to sign consents for that shit. If you want to leave the hospital, the doctor can say it is against medical advice, hence the AMA. But if you want to leave the hospital, and especially if you know they're just wasting your time on purpose to try and stop you from going somewhere because your dad's an asshat, you can literally say, discharge me now, like get the discharge papers or get an AMA. Either way, I am leaving this hospital. You're an adult. You're not a psych patient. You're not under a hold. If you want to leave the hospital, you can leave the hospital because you're an adult. You can also, considering your dad's been an asshole and causing issues in the hospital, you can also ask for him to be banned from your care. You can say, oh, look, I'm an adult. I do not want you telling my dad about my medical care. And it would make it illegal for them to tell your dad about your medical care. It would be illegal for your dad to be involved in your medical care, regardless of who he is, because of doctor-patient confidentiality. You have so many avenues you could have gone down, and she's like, oh my god, like, no. Sign an AMA, tell your dad to fuck off, tell them you don't want him involved in your care. You don't want him told about your care, you don't want any information, you don't want him allowed in your room. And I know it's just to be there for the dramatics of like, we're down to the wire, like she's been in the hospital for 3 days, the fight's today, they need to get to Las Vegas, blah, 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 blah. I get that, I get it's for the drama. But Jesus Christ, Laura, you should know that someone can just sign an AMA. You should. This girl is college educated, she has a degree in nutrition and business. And she doesn't know, like, she must know that she can sign an AMA. Like, one of the nurses is trying to help her out. Or one of the, other professional, intelligent women that are around her right now trying to help her, or her mum, or somebody at some point will have said to her, well, you know, if they won't let you out, you can just sign an AMA. Because that's the first thing I'd be telling my friend. If she was at this stage where she was like, they're only keeping me in the hospital because my dad is telling them to keep me in the hospital to stop me from going to this fight. It's a boxing match, by the way, not like a fight, like a boxing match. Because her dad doesn't like her boyfriend. I would be saying that, like, they need to let me out. I'd be like, you need to tell them you want to leave. Like, you either get discharged or you want an AMA. AMA is against medical advice form. So, like, you're saying you're discharging yourself against medical advice, and that anything that happens as a result of that is not the fault of the hospital. Or you will be contacting a lawyer about wrongful imprisonment, because that's what it is. If they are keeping you there against your will, it is wrongful imprisonment. There's probably another legal name for it, but it's effectively kidnapping if you're not there willingly and have the capability to not be there. Like, obviously, if you're in a coma, you can't be over the kidnapping because, like, you needed there's things for that. But you are awake, in your right mind, not under any sort of order, and an adult. You can just leave the fucking hospital. I've done it. And that is what's pissing me off about this so much, is she could just leave. She is under no obligation to stay in the hospital. And that is, it's just annoying me. Like, there's no explanation as to why she's not there. Like, clearly Laura Pavlov just wanted to cause tension, and it's just annoying me. But anyway, like I say, I've only got like nearly 40 something pages left to go. And there's a lot to wrap up. There's a lot to wrap up, so yeah. Thanks for listening to my rant. Hello, it is Saturday. Excuse the state of me. I don't care at this point. I just flung my hair up because it's getting my nerves. I have a book delivery. This actually came yesterday, but Every being the stellar company that they are for delivering stuff, put it in my safe box and just left and didn't inform me in any way, shape or form. So came out and checked today, and there it was. So yeah, I got this from the Book House, which is an independent family run bookshop, as you can see on the stamp there. Not their fault, but every are useless. But yeah, I'm going to unbox it. I know exactly what it is because, well, it was an individual order from this specific bookshop, so I'm so excited. Thankfully they put it in a waterproof layer just in case. And, ooh, there's a bookmark. It says, their journey is over, but the adventure has just begun. This is the last book in a series, and I am so sad that it is the last book in a series. Oh, more. So you got one for the Book House at Broughty Ferry. Is the name of the store. That's really cute. I really want to go there now. I need to go to Broughty Ferry at some point. And one for Libra FM. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Right. Right. Oh, it's in bubble wrap. Oh. See, this is good. They put it in bubble wrap and then in the cardboard and then in a waterproof layer. Partly they also got the world's strongest bubble wrap because that took effort to get into. Ta-da! This is The Map of Bones by Kate Moss. This is, oh, you can't even see it properly because of the gild in there. And the reason I got this indie book edition is because, can we just appreciate here the edges? Oh, they're beautiful. So I'm guessing this is going to have something to do with wine. So this is the fourth and final novel in the Joubert family series, and it's also signed. Oh, there's a letter! There's a letter from the author bound in, and the dedication is for the first Huguenots in southern Africa and every refugee, past and present, fleeing persecution and war in the hope of a safer life. There is a little map of the south of Africa. This is Cape Hope, down here where my pinky is. Or the Cape of Good Hope, sorry. I'm so excited to read this. This is being read immediately. Oh my god, I've not even looked at the naked book. Of course, it is. It's beautiful. It's got the standard Kate Moss typography on there. and I wish it was more centered. Like, I wish her name was like more centered. And this is just stunning. Like, it seems so simple, but this marbling sort of butterfly, you can't actually see. I can see the butterfly effect or the Rorschach effect better on the camera than I can on just by looking at it. If I can focus my eyes, I can see it, but not if I focus them, which apparently is the thing that only certain people can do. Oh, and there's daggers at the bottom. I'm so excited to read this. You have no idea. I love Kate Moss. You probably do have an idea of that, but I'm so excited to read this book. I'm so sad that it's the final one, because the last one, The Ship of... I can't remember what it's called. The Ghost Ship, sorry. Was one of my favourite books ever. This follows the niece of the character from the last book. And if you've read the last book, you'll know why, because it's a little bit more sapphic than it was not. Yeah, so I'm so excited to read this. It's even got the fleur-de-lis and the oh. I love Kate Moss's books so much, I can't even tell you, and I'm so excited to read this month. Hello, I'm about to go to bed, and we're ignoring how I look because I'm about to go to bed. Like, we just don't perceive me, it's fine. But I've just finished watching Victoria. They've released season 3 finally on Netflix, and I don't know if it was 2 and 3. I've not seen season 2 before, and I barely remembered any season 1, to be perfectly honest. So yesterday I watched all of season 1, and today I watched all of season 2 and 3. There's only 8 episodes per season, and it's like the highest one's like an hour. So I just like blasted through all of them. It was like 20 hours worth of... I counted it up, it was like 20 hours worth, so I just watched it all. And I really love these sort of things. Like, I loved The King's Speech, I loved Victoria, and even like the beginning of The Crown. Like, I've not watched the new season because I feel a bit uncomfortable watching like stuff about people who are currently like alive and stuff. It just feels a bit weird. I know I watched The Crown when Queen Elizabeth was alive, but like, she was not recognisable in a sense. Like, to me, she's always been like an elderly lady, like somebody's granny, sort of like old lady, whereas in The Crown it's when she's like 18 and stuff. And like, once it gets up to modern times, it gets a bit more like, because the people it's talking about are real, not real, but they're all real, but like they are people that I can see. And that just makes it a wee bit uncomfortable for me, which I probably will end up watching it eventually. I just, right now, I'm just a bit like, because at the end of the day they're people, and while I'm not a monarchist by anybody's imagination, well, that's a lie. I'm a monarchist when it comes to fictionalised things. Books, TVs, series, movies. Yeah, love a good monarchy. Like with Downton Abbey. I love Downton Abbey. I love the Crawley family. Did they exist? No. There's not a chance in hell there was a household like that in the whole of the country. Not a chance. But I love it. Like, I love Downton Abbey so much. But the thing about Victoria and the thing about The Crown and stuff like that is just, I don't know, there's something about watching historical things, like The King's Speech as well. I don't really know anything about the monarchy beyond like the films and stuff that I watch, because then I go on a deep dive and Google and stuff like that. Like, I was so glad to find out when I googled that Bertie, who is Victoria's son, the eldest, who became Edward the something, I don't know, see, I don't know, who became Edward, whatever it is, number, I thought he was, so there's another Bertie. Bertie is the king from The King's Speech, so he was this, and his name was George when he was a king, but his actual name was Albert, and he was Queen Elizabeth's dad, but his brother abdicated because he wanted to marry a divorcee. Yeah, now it's okay. And his dad was, I don't remember if he was George, or I think his brother was Edward and his father was George. And George, whatever number he was, wasn't very nice. Like, in The King's Speech, he wasn't very nice. And I was like, please don't let that actually be like baby Bertie that I'm seeing on the screen because he's such a sweet boy. But it turns out that Bertie that I'm seeing is actually his dad. So, like, yeah. But it's so funny watching watching Victoria and seeing some of the things they say. Like, Victoria was talking about somebody, like, they were talking about somebody trying to make a dynasty. I think it was the Russians trying to make a dynasty by marrying off their children to all of European royalty. And I'm like, babe, that's what you do. Like, this is right at the start where they're like, oh my god, we can't let them do this. And I'm like, babe, you had 9 children. 9 children? 7 or 9? 9. I think she had 9 children. And other than Bertie, who became Edward, when he became king, all of her children were married off to European royals, including the Russian tsars. Like Anastasia, Alexei, Maria, Helga? I can't remember all the siblings in the Romanovs. Queen Victoria's grandchildren. She literally married her children off to, like, the entirety of Europe. All the European royals she was known as the grandmother of Europe because she married off all her children to various different European royalty. So, including one of her children who would then become one of her children who would then become, I don't remember how, I don't know all the links, but, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name already. Prince Philip's grandmother, or great-grandmother, somewhere back there. Prince Philip, his line came from Victoria. Elizabeth, her line came from Victoria. The Romanov line came from Victoria. Like, she literally, they're all related through Victoria. And it's just the fact that she's like, oh, we shouldn't let someone do that. And I'm like, babe. But Jenna Coleman, honestly, plays Victoria so well. She's just, the thing is, she's got brown eyes normally, right? And Victoria had blue eyes. So they put blue contacts in her. It's creepy as hell. It looks unnatural. It looks like she's supposed to be like a vampire because the first shot you see of her is her lying in bed asleep. And she's got like her long hair and a white nightgown. I just expect her to be like the eyes to open. She's like the blue. Well, that's what happens. The eyes open, blue eyes. I fully expected her to be like a vampire or something. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was such a good story. Obviously, it's fictionalised. Like, there are massive differences in the stories of some of the people. Like Ernst, who was Albert's brother. His story was changed. I believe her niece's story was changed because like they were or were not married to people that they actually married. So yeah, like the real people. Right, it's so weird because they're like characters but they're also like real people, and that's what makes these things like really, because they're basing a lot of this off of what contemporaries had to say about her, Victoria, what her diary said and things like that. Like, they're basing a lot of the series off of that, but then you've got so many gaps to fill. Like, you don't know what conversations were had. You don't know what was. But honestly, I appreciate the hell out of Prince Albert. I loved what I found out about Prince Albert. Like, and it was very well portrayed on that. Like, I felt like in one of those things it was like, RIP person, you would have loved XYZ. I could not see when he got so excited about the train. Like, the first train. I was like, you would have loved public transport. You would have loved cars. You would have loved all the technology that we have nowadays. If I could bring one person to the future, like back from the dead, to show them all the ways that we've developed, right now, in my heart, I want to bring back Prince Albert, because he was such, and in real life as well, he was such a futuristic leaning person. Like, he wanted to push not just the UK but the world into the future in a way that was collaborative, in a way that benefited mankind as a whole. Like, the first thing he did when he like was married into the monarchy was in the oh, I don't know if it was the first thing, but the first significant thing they showed was that he backed the abolition of slavery in the United States. Like, he was one of the forerunners, like, because Victoria can't say anything, she was also against slavery, but she couldn't do anything because the monarch is not allowed to get involved in politics. At least, like, out front of things. They can have their own opinions, but they can't be known to have their own opinions. And they can suggest influence with their prime ministers and such, but it doesn't mean they're going to be listened to. Like, they have no actual pull, if that makes sense. Not like in, say, Henry VIII's day, where his word was law. It's no longer like that by the time we get to Victoria. And so, in her place, and for his own conscience, Albert went to, I think it was actually a Quaker meeting, where they were talking about abolishing slavery, and he was really passionate about abolition and bringing it to the country's notice. Again, with, I think it was the start of the World's Fair. I can't remember what it was they called it, but it was, I believe, possibly the start of the World's Fair. He hosted that because he was so, like, he believed so much in innovation and science and bringing, it was only supposed to be, like, just England. And yet he decided that no, it should be open to the world, and like people from all over the world came with their inventions and their historical artifacts and interesting things from their country to show off an exhibition. It was an exhibition, that's what it was. But I believe it became the World's Fair, and he wanted to build this thing for it that didn't impact the park, because they didn't at Hyde Park, and he wanted it to preserve the trees, be like basically eco-friendly. Like, you wanted something that wasn't going to damage the park and could come down again. And things like gazebos and stuff that we have were not invented back then. So they built this massive glass house called the Crystal Palace, and it literally had a tree in the middle of it. Like, they had to go round the tree, and he wanted to preserve that because he loved forests. He loved nature and preserving nature, and like, it's well known that Victoria and Albert loved coming to Scotland because they just loved the scenery and the wilderness and the nature of it all, because, I mean, slightly biased here, but we have a beautiful country, absolutely stunning country. Like, they are the ones that purchased Balmoral, like Balmoral Castle, Balmoral Palace Castle, I can't remember which one it is. Balmoral started as their Scottish residence, because they loved Scotland so much, like the land. I don't know where they stood with the people, or if they were any good for Scotland, because, again, the Union, not a big fan, but it showed, like, it just showed so much. And again, going back, like, in the second season with the train, like, he was so excited about the train because it would make things easier and more accessible for the people. Like, they could transport things like food and just things in general. Like, they could move food, and they could move like crops and stuff, and they could move textiles, and they could move pottery, and like, you could just move stuff around the country a lot faster and a lot more efficiently with trains. And he was so much for that. People could travel for work, they weren't stuck where they were, they didn't have to leave their families necessarily. So like, if you were working in one place and lived in another, you didn't have to move away from your family to work there. You could just commute because the trains were there. Like, he was such an advocate for things like that, and he was so excited by, like, Prince Albert and the thing. I don't know about real Prince Albert, but he was so excited about it. He was so, and in googling him, like, he seemed to be, like, he did these things. He did all these things. He pushed for abolition. He was patron for sciences and art, and pushing things into the future was his big thing. Like, bringing what he could to the people. He wanted to serve the people of this country, and honestly, not gonna lie, I appreciate him so much. Like, I appreciate that kind of character so much. Whether he was like what he was like in the TV show or not, like, TV show Albert, my favourite. TV show Albert is by far the best monarch. Possibly Victoria as well, but she was, like, still kind of constrained by a lot of things. Like, being the monarch, you can't do X, Y, Z. But Albert was able to make change in significant ways. And honestly, I really like him and Nikola Tesla. If they had been contemporaries, could you imagine? So if I could bring back, like, if I could bring back people to show them what the world has been, or to help them, like, help improve the world, it would be, right now, it would be like Prince Albert, Nikola Tesla, and Alan Turing. They would be unstoppable. And maybe Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace he did meet, they were contemporaries. But yeah, like, the fact that Turing, for example, couldn't have done anything without Lovelace, like, it just absolutely blows my mind. And the women at NASA, the calculators at NASA, probably wouldn't have been able to do anything if it hadn't been for Ada Lovelace. Like, yeah. And Ada Lovelace was played by Emerald Fennell, I think her name is. I love Emerald Fennell, she is so cool. But yeah, she played Ada Lovelace in this, and oh my god, honestly, I'm just going on about it now. I really, really enjoyed the show. I really, really enjoyed this sort of thing. Like, when it's fake, real things. I mean, I like that in books as well. Historical fictions that are based on true events, you know? But anyway, I'm going to go to bed. I've got a sprint in the morning with Becca. And I should probably go to sleep. But I just want to tell you about how much I enjoyed Victoria. Hello. It is my watch. I'm not wearing it. It is Sunday. And I'm about to go to bed. I probably should have gone to bed earlier, but I got wrapped up reading my book. I seem to have done something weird to my hair because there's like blondie bits in here that shouldn't be there. And I've obviously just got the pattern wrong, but oh well. I'll be forever fussing with my hair. But I have been reading this, which is, honestly, such beautiful edges. Oh, they've got the daggers. I know I saw the daggers before, but can we focus on the daggers, please? On the daggers, please. It's not going to help it at all. You see one has a red and one has green. There's significance to that within the story. Yeah, I have absolutely charged through this book. I have absolutely charged. I'm 319 pages through it. It is 459? Something like that? 459 pages. So I have 140 pages to go, which is amazing. I could stay up and finish it, but I'm not going to, because I would be up for at least another hour. And I need to go to bed because I work in the morning. I'm so upset that it's Sunday today. I need a day off to recover from my weekend. I'm tired. And that's probably because I've not been sleeping great. Last night I switched back my pillow because the other one is just not working for me. Kay is trying it tonight and I'm back to my incredible pillow. With that said, I am going to go and I'm going to go to bed because, like I said, I'm tired. I look tired. Like, I just look tired. If you want to let me know you are here, but you don't want to sit and leave a long comment or anything, just leave me a red emoji or a set of grapes emoji or leaf emojis for the grapevines. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.